All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Andrew Cran with the Weather Service in Raleigh. We're going to go over the weekly briefing here. That's going to cover the period from today, Thursday, April 11th, through next Wednesday, the 17th. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm sure what's a lot on your mind today is what the coverage of showers and storms is going to be this afternoon and this evening. So I thought I would show what's going on currently right now. So this is roughly the latest radar animation across the Carolinas. We've got obviously some showers along the coast of North Carolina and offshore of South Carolina. But roughly to the west and northwest of that, not a lot of coverage across most of central North Carolina at the moment. We are watching a couple areas that could get some redevelopment this afternoon and this evening. And I've kind of highlighted with a couple circles here where we expect there could be some afternoon and evening development. So one area we're watching would be an area where there are some current isolated showers in Columbia, South Carolina, and then a second batch that is currently over northern Georgia, far northwest South Carolina, and in the far southwest part of our state in North Carolina, so closer to Asheville. So those two areas we're watching that there could be some redevelopment this afternoon and this evening. Coverage is going to be scattered. Timing, so kind of a wide range in our expected timing, anywhere from about 1 p.m. this afternoon to about 9, 10 o'clock this evening. So it's a wide range and gives you a lot of uncertainty there, but that's kind of roughly that time frame we're looking at, and we're still looking at the potential for some damaging winds and an isolated tornado still possible. So let's go ahead and get into the forecast. So we had posted this morning. We still are in a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms this afternoon and evening. On the right is basically showing some forecast simulated radar animations. This should not be set in stone. Obviously, this is one depiction of what the radar may look like this afternoon and evening, but largely follows our similar line of thinking right now based on what we've looked at in the forecast. So this afternoon around 1, this animation here at 1 p.m. is probably a worst case scenario, but we do expect that there will be some development this afternoon. And then as we get into late afternoon around 4 o'clock, there'll probably still be some scattered thunderstorms around the area. As we get into 6 and 9 p.m., there is still a hint that there could be a line or weak broken line of some scattered to strong thunderstorms, some of which could be severe. And it's roughly in that noon to 1 p.m. to 9 to 10 p.m. range this evening. We're still looking at that damaging wind and isolated tornado possible. And outside of any storm, so this morning we had some gusts to 50 miles an hour move through portions of the Piedmont, Raleigh, Sanford, and down towards the northern Sandhills. And so even outside of any storms, we are still expecting some of those gradient winds gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour outside of those showers and storms. So really the main threat over the next 7 to 8 days is that marginal risk today. Tomorrow we do have a threat for some thunder, but right now it's not expected to be severe. And then the rest of the extended forecast looks dry. Thomas, I did see your post. I will get to that at the end of this briefing, if that's okay. So we'll go over the upcoming weather pattern here for Central North Carolina, covering today through next Wednesday. And the storms are being generated today by a pretty strong cold front and an area of low pressure over the Ohio Valley. That area of low pressure is going to race up into the Great Lakes by tomorrow. And even though the main rain activity will be moving out tomorrow. We do have those showers and maybe a rumble of thunder tomorrow afternoon, evening, but really it's going to be rather gusty on Friday as well. We're looking at some gusts tomorrow, could be between 30 and 40 miles per hour, and I wouldn't rule out an occasional gust to 45 miles per hour in the afternoon on Friday. So it's going to be relatively windy these next couple days. As we get into Saturday and early next week, high pressure is going to dominate through the rest of the period. Temperatures will be in the 70s on Saturday, and then we'll trend to some 15 degrees above normal early next week. Could be some mid to even upper 80s in the forecast for next week. So looks like summer is trying to make its way into the area. Accumulated precipitation largely focused on today. These rainfall amounts may be adjusted downward given some of the trends we've seen on radar, but we're still expecting potentially up to a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch, primarily in those areas that get those heavier downpours with those scattered thunderstorms moving through this afternoon and evening. And then tomorrow, we could see maybe a 1/10 of an inch or less, but largely a much drier day for Friday. And that will continue pretty much into the middle of next week. There was an update from the Weather Prediction Center for their excessive rainfall outlook. So what you're seeing right now on the left for today, that was adjusted and that was reduced. So the risk of flash flooding today is much lower than was currently anticipated. So that will be coming out shortly. So right now, most of the area is just in a level 1 out of 4 risk, the marginal risk for today. So we are not expecting widespread flash flooding today and tonight. Going into the extended 8 to 14 day, there is a pretty good signal for above normal temperatures, looking at almost 60% chance for above normal temperatures if you like that warm weather, and 30 to 40% chance of above normal precipitation. So there's less of a signal for that rain in the extended compared to the warm temperatures that are expected. Our normal highs are right now in the low 70s, 74 in Fayetteville, 71 in Greensboro, with our lows in the upper 40s to around 50. All right, the graphical hazard weather outlook for today, primarily we have that marginal risk for severe thunderstorms, isolated tornado, and locally damaging winds possible, as well as that threat for lightning, low risk for excessive rain. We do have those gusty winds expected today and as well as tomorrow. So that is also pretty much what we're forecasting and expecting. Outside of that, we may need to watch for some potential fire concerns over the weekend on Saturday. So weather summary, a strong cold front will bring the threat for showers and storms this afternoon. Current thinking, we have a secondary wave. This first wave was relatively dry, but a secondary wave this afternoon, probably between noon and 2 p.m., ending between 9 and 10 p.m. this evening. But outside of any storms, gusts of 40 to potentially 50 miles an hour will be present. And it will be gusty again on Friday, tomorrow. Gusts up to 40 miles per hour will be possible. High pressure will then dominate through the rest of the weekend and early next week with some 80s, mid to upper 80s next week. There is a level 1 risk for the hazard for today, and then we have a limited impact for locally heavy rain this afternoon. And obviously we did mention the expected windy conditions on Friday.